neshungu. Moyo wangu, moyo wangu, moyo wangu neshungu. Moyo wangu, moyo wangu, moyo wangu neshungu. Amashinjitsa kaparari rako kuhondo. Bairwira kuti tibeta kasununguka. Hasikezvi tinotambura zvikuru. Tichidzungaira tiri kunyika dzevamwe. Hedu nyika yave mumaoko embavha. Vanongodya vega pamwe nehemhuri dzavo. Momo yeZimbabwe ichishaya chekubata. Mumoyo mangu muzere shungu zhinji kwazvo. Moyo wangu, moyo wangu, moyo wangu neshungu. 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 Chinogaro sarudza vatungamiri vachinoda. Asi zanu yacho inongotibiridzira. Moyo yavo inofara kuona tichingotambura. Havana nyadzi, havatombotye Mwari. Ivo vakarwara vanorapwa kunze kwenyika. Zvipatara zvizhinji hazvina kana mishonga. Zuva nezuva hama zhinji dziri kufa. Asi zvose izvi havana hanya nazvo. Moyo wangu, moyo wangu, moyo wangu neshungu. Moyo wangu, moyo wangu, moyo wangu neshungu. Moyo wangu, moyo wangu, moyo wangu neshungu.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Zimbabweans, depending on where you are. Thank you so much for joining us. We are live here on Change Radio, where we discuss political, social, and economic issues happening in Zimbabwe and around the world. And today we are discussing the topical issue of women's rights. And we're supposed to be joined by Comfort DONDO, a well-known international women's rights organization, women's rights activist based here in the United States of America. We're still waiting for him, but while we're waiting for her, we'll discuss a few things. We know that she is busy elsewhere. Right now, as we are speaking, we know that she is at another space where she is doing what she knows best, defending rights of women. But she promised to come. Barbara, you can take the opportunity to greet our viewers and listeners.
Thank you so much, Chief Shoshe. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, our viewers and listeners from wherever you are. Lingabe lichona njani, lavuka njani, mthwakazi omuhle emagumbini amane wonke omhlaba phela sesiphendukile le nduna yakoShoshe Padare naMambo Shoshe. Namhlanje sicabanga ukuthi sike sikhangele ngezamalungelo abomama esithi ngama women's rights, ukuthi omama bengabe bephathwa kuhle yini kundaba zepolitics kumbe indaba zomu-economy, ukuthi sizwe ama-views enu ukuthi lina licabanga njani ngokuhlukuluzwa lokho kwenziwa omama, kungakhathalekile ukuthi ngumama owangaphi. Sibona ukuthi singakhangela omama from all walks of life endaweni ezitshiyeneyo, sibona besiba ngama-victims okudlwangulwa, ngama-victims oku-abuzwa kumbe esithi ukuhlukuluzwa ngabesilisa, ikakhulu labo abaphezulu abakuphawa kumbe sithi abayibo phela abaphethe umkhonomi, abayibo abalezikhundla eziphezulu. Sibona omama behlukuluzwa even ezindlini, bayahlukuluzwa emgwaqweni, bayahlukuluzwa emabhasini, sibona bayahlukuluzwa endaweni ezitshiyetshiyeneyo kakhulu. Ngakho namhla besimele sibe lengcitshi phela eyamalungelo abomama, uComfort Dondo manje usebizwe kweyinye iplatform ukuthi ayekhuluma ngakhona lokho esikhuluma ngakho namhlanje, kodwa uthe angaphangisa ukuqeda uzabuya sixhumane laye khona lapha sikhulume nini laye sizwe ukuthi uthini yena, umbono wakhe ngamalungelo abomama. Over to you, Chief Shoshe.
Just say a little more, Barbara. I'm just texting with Comfort right now.
Okay, namhlanje sikhangele sicabanga ukuthi sikhangele omama uSusan Mutami, sizakhangela uMary Chiwenga, sikhangele futhi labo mama abathathu abahlukuluzwayo abe-CCC, kodwa abahlukuluzwa kusase-MDC Alliance phela uJoanna Mamombe, Cecilia Chimbiri loNetai Maroa. Sifuna ukuthi sike sicubungile, sifuna ukuthi sikhangelisise ukuthi kuyini okuyawenzakalayo njalo kuyini okwabangela ukuthi abantu laba bahlukuluzwe. oMary Chiwenga kuyini okubangela ukuthi ahlukuluzwe ngumuntu ayemthanda, umuntu owayemkakhe. Sikhangele njalo uSusan Mutami, ukukhuluma kwakhe akwenzayo ukuthi yena wahlukuluzwa ngu-Emmerson Mnangagwa. Abantu abaningi bathi ulamanga, abantu abaningi bathi wayethuleleni, kodwa phela esimele sibekwazi ukuthi ukudlwangula ikudlwangula, akula expiry date. Ungaze udlwangule ungumntwana, ungacabanga ukuthi ufuna ukukhuluma usukhulile, it's up to you. And today we are speaking about the women abuse, we wanted to look into Susan Mutami's issue, we wanted to look in Mary Chiwenga's issue, we wanted to look at the trio, Joanna Mamombe, Cecilia Chimbiri, and Netai Maroa. So we had invited a women activist, human rights activist who stands for women rights, Comfort Dondo, and she could not join us because she's on another platform defending women. So we just thought, let's just maybe continue with the program. She might be joining us later, but that is what we are going to look at in today's issue of Padare Nabambo Shoshe. Estella, can you play us something, or maybe can you show us something whilst Chief is trying to sort out? Anzi, it said to hear an honorable member of parliament supporting women abusers, that is Mliswa. It's so said. Yes, these are the type of leaders. Anzi Chukse Chuma, these are the types of leaders that we are having. You can't. Susan has got a child with Themba Mliswa, meaning kuti Susan deserves respect from Themba, and Themba should be supporting Susan, that she was abused when she was 15 years old by Emmerson Mnangagwa. But we know these politicians, how they are. Maybe Estella, can you put my comments in the way my comments tichimirira Comfort or Chief Anzina Kelvin Machona. Hello, Chief. I'm watching from DRC. Hi, Kelvin. How are you? How is DRC? Martin Chiruka. Anzi, free Zimbabwe. Yes, we want Zimbabwe to be freed. We don't want as to be led by pedophiles. We don't want to be led by people who do not respect women. If you look at the issue of Kembo Mahadi, how he was abusing his workers, his secretaries. You look at Jonathan Moyo, how he killed Jackie Madondo, that powerful singer, upcoming gospel singer Jackie Madondo. She was killed in in a car accident, kuita zvokutumirwa Puma because she was carrying Jonathan Moyo's baby because they didn't want evidence abuse yawo kuti ibude, because once the child was born it was going to be clear that Jonathan Moyo had abused Jake Madondo. So these are sad stories that we are getting. Like you say, Jake Madondo was a musician, so this abuse is all over. Anyone can be abused. Women, let's stand for each other, let's support each other. You can be abused. More Blessing Ali was abused. You can also be abused wherever you are, be it if you are a teacher, you can be abused by a headmaster, you can be abused by anyone. So let's speak out and let's support each other, no bashing each other. I heard some women bashing Susan Mutami, saying kuti hey, what, but you know what, Chief, Susan's behavior is exactly how people who suffer from psychological trauma behave. Like, this exactly shows that she was abused. Stella, do you have that video by Grace Mugabe? Maybe Patinenge Chitaura, maybe we can play that video whilst you can search for that video. Grace Mugabe. Grace Mugabe spoke about this, and we thought Grace Mugabe was mad, but she was speaking exactly. She was saying exactly what ED is made of. Anzina Martin Chiruka, look also at the Simply Women, a woman who were killed, who was killed 2 days ago by Murakashi. At least that was good enough to admit himself and end up his life. That guy was a Murakashi. Chief, did you know that guy was a Murakashi? I'm hearing it now, but but I did know that he was a Murakashi. Okay, Estella, do you have something for us?
I'm just looking for that Grace Mugabe video.
Okay.
I will, yeah. Oh, another comment here.
Yes, Hanzi Matenga, I think time is now for Zimbabwe to change the ZANU-PF government. Yes, we have to, Matenga, we have to change the whole system. The whole system is rotten. Everyone in ZANU-PF is rotten, including my youth actually in ZANU-PF. They are corrupt, they are rotten, I don't know sure if those youth are given power to say kuti ngawaite president. Nyika yacho inobva yatonyura. Kutonyura chaiko kufushirwa. Kana mayouth ezano akafanana nanaye akauraya Samantha. Hanzi Murakashi, did you know that, Chief, that he was a Murakashi? Chief Soshe? Chief Soshe can't hear me. Can you hear me, Chief?
Can you hear me, Chief?
Yes, I can hear you, Estella.
But can you hear me, Chief?
I think you can't hear Champion Barbara, did it?
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Estella. I was just speaking to Comfort. She'll be joining us shortly, maybe at exactly 2 o'clock, because like I said, she's at one of the spaces defending the rights of a woman, or defending the rights of women, because that's her specialty. That's what she does. So she's still going to join us. But meanwhile, we can talk about this issue, and those who want to come and speak about this. I'm seeing a lot of people that are commenting. We can give you the link, and you can come up and join us. Let's hear what you think about what is going on. Are we doing enough in Zimbabwe to defend women's rights? We are seeing a whole member of parliament on the other side defending the people that are abusing women. And that's the trend that we've seen from ZANU-PF, that you see them victimizing the victim. They did that with the trio, the Triple C trio, with Joanna Mamombe, Honorable Joanna Mamombe, Netai Marova, and Cecilia Chimbiri. Instead of them being protected by the courts as is enshrined in our constitution, they were now actually being further abused by the system, further abused by the police and the courts and the government itself. So we're seeing the trend continuing. Themba Mliswa defending the obviously Sekuru Vake. That is what is happening there. You know that Themba Mliswa and Emmerson Mnangagwa are very related, and you can see how the plot is thickening, how the plot is coming out. Emmerson Mnangagwa cannot defend himself. So what does he do? He sends, one of his lapdogs in Themba Mliswa to come to the public arena, because they know that Themba is good at that. Themba is good at talking. Themba can be listened to. Themba is listenable. Emmerson Mnangagwa cannot speak. Nobody can understand what Emmerson Mnangagwa is saying, and other people, other lapdogs, like what's going on? Why am I having feedback?
Let me mute and let's see.
Okay. I think it's good now. Yeah. So other lapdogs like his spokespeople, they can't come and talk about this because it's obviously out of their depth. This issue that was brought by Susan is out of Mangwana's depth. It's out of most ZANU people's depth, because most of them know that it's the truth. They know that Emmerson Mnangagwa, he has been abusing young people, not only young people, but even other people's wives. We have seen it. You've heard Chiangwa speaking and many other people speaking on how Emmerson Mnangagwa can go after your wife, and you can't even say anything about it. Unotosangana naye pagedhi wototaura kuti makadii chef, kana kuti achitobuda mumba mako, you have to greet him, you have to be respectful to him. That's how callous that man is. And most people in Kwekwe know about the things that we're talking about. That's why they can't come and defend him, because they know. So now we are seeing what Themba Mliswa is trying to do. He's coming as if he's defending himself, but he's not defending himself. He's actually defending Emmerson Mnangagwa. But how far can they go with that? As you know, Emmerson Mnangagwa's case is now before the courts in Australia. Susan Mutami was brave, very brave enough to go and report in Australia, and it's now in the hands of the police in Australia. What does that mean? Obviously, if Mnangagwa is ever to fly to Australia, you will be arrested. Now we want to see if this case will be taken up by Interpol, so that it becomes an international case. When he comes to the United States, can he be arrested? When he flies into the United Kingdom, if ever he does that, or whenever he flies out of the country, out of Zimbabwe, can he be arrested? Those are now issues that we want to pursue as citizens. As citizens, we have power. We have power even to arrest someone. Citizens arrest. And we have power to speak out, to tell the world what is going on in Zimbabwe, to tell the world who Emmerson Mnangagwa is. And one of the ways of doing that is what we are doing right now. Unfortunately, Zimbabwean people don't like straightforward things. They don't want where you sit down and discuss serious issues. So I want to thank the people that are here, the 40 people that are here. We appreciate you for being here. Otherwise, Zimbabweans like makua. Panenge pachiitwa zvemakuwa, panenge pachiitwa zvana maititi, panenge pachiitwa zvinhu zvokutukana, zvokunyepa, zvokuabhusana, zvokuita sei. That's where Zimbabweans, you see them. Vanenge varipo in thousands. But we will not stop doing what we are supposed to be doing as a media organization. We will not stop talking about the rights that are being abused, whether they're CCC, ZANU-PF, or anything. You saw us coming out, doing programs and defending Mary Chiwenga. Mary Chiwenga is not a CCC member, but because we are a political party, a political movement of the people, by the people, we stand with all citizens. We stand with every Zimbabwean, whether they are ZANU-PF, because when abuse happens somewhere, it's an abuse everywhere. That's what the saying says. You know, an abuse here is an abuse everywhere. So if an abuse happens to a ZANU-PF person, we will stand by that person, just like what we did with the wife of the so-called vice president. You know, it's not right. What was happening and what is happening to Mary Chiwenga, it's not right. And we will not stand aside whilst the rights of women are being abused. We will stand with them. I'm seeing here that we've been joined by a guest. Please, thank you so much for joining us. You can tell us who you are and what you think about what we are discussing here.
Boss Alfred, can you hear us?
Looks like he can't hear us.
We can't hear what you are saying.
Can you unmute?
He's actually unmuted.
Okay, then you might have to go out. You might have to go out and come back again.
And come back.
Alfred, you might have to go out and come back again, and then obviously the sound issue will be sorted out. Okay, yeah. So you will come back and join us. Barbara, what do we do with people like Emmerson Mnangagwa? He calls himself a president, but he goes around abusing young women. Seriously, maybe let's just discuss. Tell us what you think we should do. Nevana Vakadaro, Sana Emmerson Mnangagwa.
He's not a presidential material, Chief. This is the reason why we are saying people should register to vote next year and vote the whole system out. ZANU-PF, the whole system has to be flushed out, because you know these people, they don't even care about the people. They are busy looting our resources. They are corrupt. They are abusive. They kill. You know, they do all sorts of things. A government must be a government that protects and respects people. But Mnangagwa's government is a government that is protecting their interest. I was reading another story about Mnangagwa's daughter. I've forgotten her name, but she's also in part of the syndicate. You know, she's also busy looting kuma mines. She has Chief. It's a shame. The whole family is corrupt. You know, so in order for us to save Zimbabwe, we have to flush out ZANU-PF completely, in total, Chief.
Yes, we have to do that. It's unfortunate, but our guest, one of our guests, is come back. Alfred, I hope we can hear you now.
Yes, I hear you, Chief.
Yes, now I can hear you too. So please go ahead. Let's hear what you think about what is going on.
Okay, and okay, nditi nditaure neshona kuti ndinyatsana kuti ndinokusai Chief, ndinokwazisai Champion Barbara, Champion Esther, ndinokwazisai vakateererawo chirongwa chinoti Change Radio. Ini ndinoitwawo Boss Alfred. Ndiri kubva kubatikana chaizvo nyaya yekuabhuswa chokwadi kuri kuitika vanhu vekadzi munyika yedu yeZimbabwe. Especially kuti chiri kunyanya kundirwadza ndechekuti mapurogiramu amwe atiri kuteerera ndiri kubatikana zvikuru chaizvo nevanhu vari kuda kusaidhira like kuisa zvekumapolitics vachiti no, because of this munhu ari kushandiswa nepolitics ngatisiyane nazvo. Handiona sekuti iright yakana, nokuti kana ichinzi abusive nekuti like tikada kuti titarise kuti muSusan Mutambi hatingamuti munhu weTCC, hatingamuti munhu weZANU-PF, haazozikana tokuti mukadzi munhu akaabhuswa achiri mwana mudiki, asi nekuti tiri kuziva zvinhu zviri kuitika muZimbabwe urimo muZimbabwe haukwanisi kutaura nyaya yako nokuti vanhu vakawanda vari kudhisapiswa vari kuita sei. I think vanofanira kuti vaunderstande kuti ndo chinhu chakanyanya kumupa kuti atore nguo asina kuti kudi kutaura nyaya kune muhurumende yeZANU-PF yembavha iyoyi, kunyanya uyu anonzi Temba Muriswa uyu. Temba Muriswa handizivi kuti baba here vane vazvarawo vana kana kuti handizi vana vechikadzi achitarisa vana vake kutiwo munhuwo here anoziva kuti mwana wangu uyu anokwanisa kuabhuswa, anokwanisa kumirira kudhifenda sana baba. Handizivi nokuti ndofunga ndamboti tarisei isho yanga achida kuitwa naSimba Chikanza. Chinhu chandishamisa ndechekuti munhu anga achimasista ari padhuze pake anga akapfeka bhureta reZANU-PF. Saka zvinhu zvitori pachena kuti Temba Muriswa is working under ZANU-PF. Saka ndosaka ari kutora kuda kudhifenda bosi wake Emerson nenhau yaakaita. Saka inini hangu ndokurudzira ndechekuti ngatibatane panyaya dzakadai sokuti vanhu vari kuabhuswa, then toita voice rimwe chete semaZimbabwe, noti zokutazi takatarisa kuti zvepolitisi zechi semaZimbabwe ngatiite voice redu tese pamwe chete, nokuti tikatarisa kuti ike zvinezvi vanhu vari kuti why now why azotaura now nyaya yekunzi rap nyangwe munhu akarepa after 20 years. Okay. Yes, I'm mute already. Okay.
Wow, there's something serious wrong there.
Yes, he's hearing echoes from long back. Where's Alfred?
Continue, Alfred. We can hear you. Ignore that voice. Can you continue?
I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I don't understand what was going on there. But folks that are here, please let's share this video. Comfort is about to come, and we will be unpacking this issue with an expert, a subject matter expert. Comfort DONDO is based here in the United States of America. She runs a women's rights organization, a very prominent person here who, is well known in the corridors of power in America. She'll be joining us shortly so that we can continue this discussion. But if you want to contribute, please join us right now. You still have a few more minutes before Comfort comes on board. But while we're waiting for someone to come on board, let me just say this, because I know I'm not gonna finish this program. We have a very big Mugwazo meeting that is coming on at the top of the hour, but I know I'll leave you in the capable hands of Barbara to take care of everything and you. But let me just say that it's unfortunate that we have people that are questioning why Susan Mutami has decided to come out right now. They must remember that Emerson Mnangagwa, he has always been fearful. There is no one in Zimbabwe who doesn't know about the cruelty and the level of cruelty that this man has unleashed on Zimbabweans. Those in Matabeleland know him better. He was the architect of Gukura Hundi, and he was a minister of state security at that time, a very powerful ministry, and later on he became minister of justice, and then became the speaker of parliament, and then at one stage became the vice president of this country. And you are telling a young person, a young lady, unprotected lady, to go and challenge such kind of power, such kind of cruelty, nobody could have done that at that stage. So we need to be thankful to Susan that at this point in time, even now, Emmerson Mnangagwa is now more powerful than ever as the so-called president of Zimbabwe. She still managed to gather herself, and got those guts to challenge the power that is Emmerson Mnangagwa and the power that is behind Emmerson Mnangagwa. So the question of why now doesn't apply. And if you are in the diaspora, if you are in the United Kingdom, you are in the United States of America, you are in Europe, you are somewhere in the first world, you know that these cases, they always come up. You know what happened here in the United States. We have had prominent people, very prominent people that abused young women 30 years ago, 40 years ago, that are in jail right now, that were tried in the courts. And what I like about Susan Mutami is she has brought up, almost irrefutable evidence against Emmerson Mnangagwa. She has described in detail, very graphically describing who Emmerson Mnangagwa is, including telling us about his private parts. Nobody would do that. That's exactly what is needed when you're accusing someone of rape. Come out, give the information, give the evidence, and don't stay at home when you have decided to speak out. Go and report to the police. She has done everything. She has done everything that is needed to be done. So now to question her is tantamount to abusing her. What we just need to do right now is to support her and make sure that Emmerson Mnangagwa is brought before the courts and be given his chance to prove himself. He doesn't need to be sending people like Themba Mliswa. He doesn't need to be sending his lapdogs to come and defend him, to come and talk about him, to come and cleanse him and make him a better person when we know that he is dirty and he is as dirty itself. So we'll continue to talk about these issues. I'm seeing here our brother is back. Let's hope that I will be able to hear him clearly now. You can go ahead, my brother.
Yes, Chief. Do you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So ndotangisa kubva pekutanga here tinongotangira panana perera.
Just continue. Because we heard what you were saying.
Okay. Yeah, mendofana kanaperera panyaya yekuti pane kunyanya pavakuru vedu vari munhiki lino tongoti mamember of parliament vari kutraya kuda kudefenda Emmerson nenhau yake yekuabhusa izvo zvinhu zvakaipa chaizvo zvisingaita. Handizive kuti vanenge vachinyanya kuda kudzidzisa chii kune vamwe vanhu vari kukura vari kuita sei. Izvi zvinhu zviri pachena nekuti zvinhu zviri kuti Susan ari kutaura kuti tine proof yake. Ende chinhu chakaita ndechekuti uchingi hwaakaita hwekutaura ini ndinoda kuzvikuridzira chose, ndinozvitenda chose nokuti akapa shungu kuti yekuti nyaya isvike mumaoko emapurisa. So handione kuti dai kuri kuti munhu ari kutanza ari kuda kushandisa runaka kuti angasvike kuita pese ndimuriona. So ngatiedze kuti chokwadi vanhu tirege kuignore nyaya dzakadai, so tichiti nyaya dzekuti nekuti kune zvepolitics zviri kuitika zvechi kuti haana kuda kuuya ari kuti ndiri kuanda triple C. Munhu akauya achitaura nyaya yake, achiripota nyaya yake kuti yakaabhuswa pakadai ende kwanga kusati kwatobhuwa kana nezvezana triple C kwanga kusitombori. Then ndozoda kuti ndofunga namboti teererei show yakaida kuitwa naSimba Chikanza achida kuinterviewa Themba Mliswa nhasi think na 6 o'clock. Ndofunga ndaona munhu anga achibatsira Themba Mliswa mumba maanga arimo, anga akatopfeka bhareta rakanyorwa kunzi ZANU-PF, anga akamira pakona achiita zvekuburitsa musoro. Ndotatombonyora makomesi chibvunza kuti ko munhu anatengeswa ane bharita rakanzi ZANU-PF uyo ndiani zvichinzi Temba Muriswa is independent? Handiziva muri kundizwawo here Champion Public?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can hear you.
Okay, yes. So zvinhu zvinotibata, zvinhu zvinotirwadza chose zvekuti kana iri mhosva imhosva ngaitongwe semhosva, ngapawe nemarights, but handinyasoziva zvangu kuti muZimbabwe hakunawo here marights anomirira vanhukadzi munyika yeZimbabwe. Handinyasozivawo ipapo kuti tinayo here rights muZimbabwe inomirirawo dambudziko revanhu vechikadzi kana vasangana nenyaya idzi, nokuti idzi nyaya idzi hadzina kutanga nhasi, nokuti tine vana vakawanda chaizvo muZimbabwe. Chief ike zvinezvi ndinofunga kuti ike zvino ndinofolowa yaTinashe Mugabe iyeyo yeDNA Closure. Ndiri kuona vana vazhinji vari kuenda kunoitwa maDNA test achibatwa achinzi mwazi wako aenda, vazhinji vacho ma14 15 years ma16 years. So handisi kuzoti vanhu ivo vari kungotariswa here chii chiri kuzoitika, nokuti hatina zvatiri kuzonzwa kuti mwana uye angaenda achinge achikude uyu mukomana ndiye muridzi wenhumbu yabva yawanikwa iri 0%, asi hatina zvatiri kuziva kuti munhu wacho atsvagwa here, asungwa here, aitwa sei, nokuti chiri kuitika vana vacho vese ma-under age. Saka handisi kuzivawo kuti handizivi mani kuti muZimbabwe. Yes, Chief.
Yes, that's what we want to hear today from Comfort Dondo. She'll be joining us soon, but Barbara can take all that. Barbara, why do you think that the women's rights organizations in Zimbabwe have remained quiet, on all, that has been happening around Susan Mutang?
Thank you so much, Chief. I think most of them, it could be fear. They now fear to do their job because they are also targets. Remember what happened to the WAP director, Stabile Dewa, and these 7 other people that they were arrested. I can't remember kuti vaibva kupi. They were arrested at the airport since vari kubva kunotengesa nyika. So I think this is the other reason why the women's organizations are quiet. But also, let's not forget that ZANU-PF has created its own organizations, sweetheart organizations that will never speak ill of ZANU-PF. These organizations will pretend as if nothing is happening, and they will maybe sometimes they even bash the victims, and they will try and justify kuti why munhu kana kuti zvadai, like the trio case. You will find them trying to justify kuti the girls are lying and why will people lie. So we really don't have powerful organizations anymore because most of them, they fear to be arrested and also to be abducted. Check what happened to Justine.
A message from Comfort. She's saying she's on. Estella, can you see Comfort? Estella, are you seeing Comfort in the back room?
No, she's not yet in the studio. She hasn't come in yet.
She's saying she's on. Did I send her wrong link?
Maybe you sent her wrong link. Estella sent Chief the correct link so that she can forward.
All right. I sent it, Chief.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. To the number you last sent something to me from.
Okay. You can go ahead, Barbara.
Yeah, I think I was done.
Okay, yeah. So I think Comfort will be joining us just now. Let's just be a little patient. But folks, please, let's share this video. My brother, can you just say your last words before we get started with Comfort?
Ndikufunga kuti chinangu zvakati wandei chief ndofunga zvizhinji zvose ndosandanya kufana kubva kuti chinhu chinonyanya chachikunyangondibata ndechekuti pana achida kunyanyonzwisa nezve-women rights organization yemuzimbabwe chete pamwe kuti iri kupi hatisiri kunzwayo isiri kumbosimukawo kana pakadai kana pakumirira nekuti matarisa kuti haana kutangira pana Susan Mutambi chete sematsanangudziro anda ndichitoita kuti zviri kutoitika zvese even kana pari kuitwa ma-DNA closure pari kuwanikwa vana vadiki achionekwa kuti akaitwa nhumba ne-15 years 14 years but nyaya dzacho dzese dziri kungoita sei dziri kungotsikwa dzakadaro. Like nditori neimwe issue yemunhu watoziva but it's about 5 years ago yekuti mwana akanhumburiswa aine 11 years zvakaitika zvokuti kuti atozonosununguka akanosunungurwa zve-C-section atonzi akangotsikwa munhu ari mara musungu nanhasi mwana iyeyo haachatodzokere kuzimbabwe tinotogara naye muno mucape town ndinotozivana naye ndinototaura naye every day ndori nemacontacts ake akatozouya kuno kuzimbabwe kunoti upenyu hwake hwatokanganiswa akaitiswa nhumbu ne-11 years nevanhu vaaitogara navo.
Yeah, that's the tragedy we have. We have
Yes.
young women, young ladies, young girls that are being abused, and because of the power behind the people that would have abused them, they don't say anything. They can't come out, and they're also afraid of what the society will say. Just like what is happening with Susan Mutambi right now, that she has decided to come out now, but there are some people that have decided to bash her and question why she has decided to come out now. I'm seeing here Comfort is saying it has ended when we are on. I don't understand what's going on. Stella, she's saying Comfort is saying it's saying it has ended.
Huh?
Mhm.
That's strange. Oh, there somebody came in now. Yeah, she's in.
Okay, good. Well, welcome, Comfort. Thank you so much for joining us. People have been waiting, and we have been just winding up time so that we wait for you. We know how busy you are and what you've been doing. We appreciate what you're doing. So we're gonna go through this program as quickly as we can so that you can go and do your job.
Thank you for your patience, Chief. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you very much.
Oh, let's let people know who Comfort is.
All right. Thank you again so much for having me. I've been in the Twitter space that's really hot. Trying to grow Honorable Themba Mliswa about what's been happening. So a little bit about me. Comfort DONDO, born and raised in Mavuku. Very proud Mavukurian here. I am a mother of 3 children, and I am a women's rights advocate. I founded an organization that's now global, and our mission is ending all forms of gender-based violence by dismantling kurakasha hunhu hunoita kuti sabate madzimai nevanasikana vedu zvakanaka. So I think that's my mission. That's my main work. I also wanted to say I just became a Bush Fellow 2022, a very prestigious fellowship. So I'm very excited. I'm going to be expanding that work to Zimbabwe. Yeah, thank you.
Wow. Very nice, Comfort. Thank you so much. Maybe just to get right into it, tell us about your organization, you have risen to become an international activist for women's rights. What inspired you to start helping abused women?
Thank you again, Chief. So my story, like many survivor-led organizations, what actually led me to start the organization was my own frustration and pain. I am a childhood survivor of sexual assault at age 9. It did affect how I grew up. It affected how I became an adult. And going through that pain, I realized that I could do something about it. And then part of that response of being abused as a child is the decisions you make as an adult sometimes are not so healthy. So I also ended up in a domestic violence situation. And being the leader that I am, and just someone who always has tried to find solutions within myself, I founded Pomolani, Minnesota African Women Against Violence, in 2017, February. And the organization has grown astronomically, getting to a global level. Again, what inspired me was not finding the solutions I needed, and I was going to create them myself. And that's just what happened, and that's what we continue to do here at Pomolani. Yeah.
You're on mute, Chief.
Mm-hmm.
Chief, you're on mute.
Chief, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Oh my goodness. My
This
apologies.
technology.
Yeah. Let's talk about Susan Mutami Comfort. What do you think? Let's have your honest opinion. I know you have been everywhere. You have been on Spaces. You have been on Facebook. You have been all over the place talking about Susan Mutami. What's your honest opinion about what is going on?
My honest opinion as a childhood survivor is when a young woman like Susan Mutami comes forward and says she was violated as a child, our first duty as citizens is to believe her, is to believe the victim, is not to cast blame, is not to demonize her. No matter what is happening around, we believe them. And then the second step is for us to support her in finding the legal routes that she needs to get this taken care of. My honest opinion, if you really care to know, Chief, is that child sexual abuse is very, very common in our home country. And I want to say right now, for me, it seems like Zimbabwe is having symptoms of a country that's at war. We just don't have stray bullets running all over, but we have symptoms of a country at war. When I look at what's happening in our home country and I look at the victim survivors of some war zones I've worked with, like women from Liberia, from the Democratic Republic of Congo, there's a lot of parallels. So when Susan comes with her story, what is my opinion? My opinion as an advocate is I believe her. I believe her. And I want courts to go through with the presentation of evidence and all that, and then we have everything presented so that we can really support her. I've also been seeing a lot of people who've been assassinating her character. My honest opinion is also that I think we have seen the response of the typical people who are abusive, who are coming from a space of abuse, and they are so used to that. They have shown up on Spaces and they have just showed us who they are. And as Maya Angelou says, when people show you who they are, believe them, believe them. So that's my take, Chief, as far as Susan is concerned. I believe every part of her account. Yeah.
Over to you, Barbara. I know you are also a women's rights activist. So you and Comfort speak the same language. Please take it on.
Yes, thank you so much. Hi, Sister Comfort, how are you?
Hello, my sister. Thank you. I'm doing good. Thank you.
I'm so happy to meet you, and I concur with everything that you have just said about believing in a victim. We have to support the victim, not to bash the victim. And I think the most reasons why people are doing this. It's because lack of awareness. They ain't much awareness, especially to ladies comfort.
Father, we are gathered
Because
here as your children. Oh Lord, we bring to you this meeting. Father, bless.
can you mute Chief Estella? He's in another meeting now. Thank you. So I was saying, you see, the majority of people that were bashing Susan were women, and it's very unfortunate, because they don't know, they are not aware, and I think we have a lot of work to do as women to raise awareness on other women, and if even if Comfort, I'm so sorry that to hear your story that you were abused at an age of 9, yeah. And to the people who protect these perpetrators, the unfortunate part is it's us women who protect these perpetrators, and we also cannot blame them. It's because of culture, how the patriarchal nature of our culture, our society. Women, they don't have any say. They will try and protect, to say we are protecting the family. But at the end of the day, they don't even know the the extent of harm that they are causing to the victim. And always the victim, even when you tell the people that you were raped, they will start asking you, what were you wearing? What were you doing? Why were you walking at night? Why were you doing this? All sort of questions are asked, and you are blamed for being a victim. And it's very, very unfortunate. And I want us to Comfort to come also. Can you touch the issue of Mary Chiwengwa and the issue of the trio, Honorable Mamombe, Joanna Mamombe, Cecilia Chimbiri, and Netai Maro, and also why are the women organizations in Zimbabwe, why are they quiet? Do you think they are quiet, or do you think they are doing something? As for me, I think we have a lot of work to do. The women's organizations have got a lot of work to do, especially Pana Mary Chiwenga, even Pana Joanne. I didn't see them. It's only a few that were doing something. Why is this happening? Comfort, can you shed light on that?
Absolutely. My sister, thank you. You bring a very, very important subject matter. I've said this on different platforms, as a nation, we have a poison in our soil. I give it's example. It's poison. It deep down in our soil. And I use that analogy to say, until we detox that poison, we're always going to end up here. We have if we look at our Dechimurenga War, if we look at how we got our liberation struggle, that in itself, there was a lot of violence involved with that. That's why the people who came from those spaces still feel they died for this country, as I've heard some of them say, right? And that's why I think it's very hard for them to let go of power. The nation was liberated from the colonialists by use of a lot of violence. We know the case studies and stories of how in any war, rape is often used as a sign of intimidation. Violence is used as well, right? We never went through healing, truth-telling, reconciliation. So what's happening is what that Bible verse says about Madzitate Guru akadya berries and akasiya ugugu mukanwa. And so ugugu iwoyo kufiliwa ne 7 generations down the line. I think we have a culture that we have a culture that's very abusive. Zimbabweans on our own, let's call that, we are very abusive as a people. We don't even realize it. We have very violent, mindless behaviors that we do, and we don't even understand why. Ugugu is that aftertaste. And as a people, until when you don't know what you don't know, you go around bleeding everywhere. If I tell you that since I've been on these spaces, I've really been trying to hide, but Simbash Kanza has been on my case. And I've been on these spaces where there's 5,000 people, and the things that are being retweeted is nothing close to what I said. And it's women. who are doing that. Between the last 2 days, I've actually had women, Zimbabwean women, very vicious, to just undoing each other. And I have said it to their face, this is very violent. The very violence you're talking about, not wanting to see, you're doing that to me. So as a people, I think we have to take a step back and say, before we start asking the people in power to change their behaviors, to change their ways of being, let's look inside ourselves. Go with some Zimbabwean. How do you contribute to the harm? That's one thing. The other part of your question was, what do we do? Yes, varume vanoita violence, and women have been upholding patriarchy. We uphold patriarchy because we want to keep up appearances. We uphold patriarchy because we are scared of being judged. That's why we hush our daughters when they come to us and they say they've been molested. And again, that's all learned behavior that we have to check in with ourselves as a people. The third thing I want to say is hurt people, and misery loves company. A lot of the research that I do shows that when people have been violated, when people have been hurt, they are more likely to perpetrate the same violence. So we are living in this country forever. There's almost like a no care. I remember, I won't mention names in ending of this end of this question. I won't name names, but I was having a meal with some of our political leaders, women, and I made a comment about what I had observed my avenues in Zimbabwe right now. The girl child, during broad daylight because of the economic situation. So I mentioned to these very high-profile women, it was a non-partisan meeting that I was attending, that I was invited to. Their lack of response. Do you have children? I just said something that really concerned me, and I saw blank. And in that moment, I knew that we are in trouble. There's a little bit of hardening of hearts that's happened for our people, and I hope that in my generation we get to change that. I hope that with programs like this, I hope that with with advocacy we get to change that. To Mary Chiwenga, Ms. Joanna Mamombe, all the women who've succumbed to abuse, being used as a political weapon, I want to say I'm very sorry. As a women's rights advocate, I'm very, very sorry. And the next thing I want to say is, I think we can do better. Zimbabwean women, we can do much better. Yes. There's a silence. I don't know where you're located, my sister, but I've seen a silence with the women's rights organizations. And I'm sorry if I'm doing a disservice to them, but I have not heard anything. And we all know why that is, right? There's fear. So I ask myself too, if I was on the ground, would I speak up? But I go home, I take the risk, because we know in history, if you don't speak up, the pattern of violence continues. With that being said, I just want to thank you for bringing up the names of those women. I can tell you what we're doing here at Pomolani. I would love to connect you as well with that platform. We're doing some global advocacy work. We're doing some global advocacy work where we're going to partner with a global coalition so that we can establish a global treaty on ending violence. I hope that we can be able to do that. Maybe if we go to the global scale, global stage, maybe, just maybe, we might be heard. Because in the meantime, I don't think it's been effective. Yeah.
Yes, I thank you so much, Comfort. Thank you so much. I would love to be part of you. These are the issues, they are matters of my heart. I have passion in these issues of women's rights, and you know what? It hates me when I see the ignorance that is in most women. There was a certain lady, Comfort, who came to us at a certain platform. She was saying kuti your sister's daughter akaenda boyfriend 16 years akaenda boyfriend, and then she didn't come home because aitya kuti baba kurowa. So she called Mainini to say, Mainini musanditsvaga, ndiri kumukomana wangu, I'm safe. And then she was asking advice from people, and the majority of the people on the platform were women. And then, you know what, I was so shocked when women said, chitomurengera ariko ikoko because mukangomutora badzi anogona kuzvisungirira because akatoita decision. Ndikati, you guys, this is a 16-year-old daughter, 16-year-old girl, haasati ane capacity yekuita decision yekurara nemurume. She was raped. They were shocked when I told them, this is rape. Tell your baba mkuru to report this guy, whether ane 17 years, whether ane 18 years, whether ane 6, this is rape. Say, no, and it's not rape. What? Because they were giving examples to say they went to Mapurisa, issues where the 16-year-old girls, Mapurisa will say, kuti, ane makore mangani, when they go and report, then Mapurisa will say, kuti, wobvunza munhu wachoona kuti wakarepwa here, anzi mwana wobva ati aiwa handina kurepwa, then the police will say it's not. No, that's wrong. You don't even have to ask, because she is a minor. The police are supposed to protect these minors, not to ask them, because they don't have the capacity to make decisions. The guardians are the ones that are supposed to make decisions for them. And then I ignorance, and I just said to myself, God, please help us, because if women have such an attitude, how about men? It's so sad. It's so sad.
Yeah, no, and we say mushamkadzi, and I'm so glad that for the young lady you could be there, because also we perish because of lack of knowledge sometimes. Statutory rape.
Yes.
I have to tell you, the work that we do in Zimbabwe right now, I work with actually one of my former high school mates was a really amazing attorney in Zimbabwe, Anonzi Rufaro Mandu, and she's helped me on some cases where we get to hear from a woman whose child was raped, but evidence has been tampered with because Mpurisaka Padare. So we're talking level of corruption. And I think there's no way we're going to deal with this violence against women and girls, even boys now as well. I have a lot of young men coming to my inbox who've been violated. It happens to men as well, but men just don't talk about it. I think what I see a lot of is, until the soil is detoxed, until the soil is washed off, that's the only way we're going to see change. Because as long as we are building a house onto a broken foundation, we're going to continue to see these issues. And it's not a single issue. It's not a single matter issue, my sister. It's very, very interconnected. So we have high use of drugs, our young men. I bring that also because that's violence. That's violence. We have a non-working economy where young people, I'm not even sure who is funneling those drugs into the country. But when you disarm a young generation like that and they're all high on drugs, nobody is sober enough to ask critical questions. We also have another violent issue that's happening, because for me, when you remove rights of people from them being able to thrive and make decisions, for me, it's all violence. Because people just think violence against women is about kurowa kwemukadzi. No, economic when you put people in a place where economically they're not able to thrive, like
comfort, like the issue this MP who was giving one of my buckets nema sweets. Honestly, is that not violence?
It is violent. It is to dehumanize, right? I have a young sister. I really love her work, but I always wanted to ask, okay, you're helping these young women. My teenagers. I put something on my social media. It's about 20 teenagers, 14, 13. They're all pregnant. Who's making these girls pregnant? And what's being done about it? And I don't hear anything. And so all those are forms of violence, the funneling of drugs into the country, the arresting of advocates like Job Sikala. For me, he's an advocate because he speaks to truth.
Yeah.
They are use of arrest, use of rape. That's why I say we're in a war. We're in a war. We just don't know it. And that's very unfortunate. That's very
If we
unfortunate.
have a government that does not respect lawyers, or the likes of Job Scala, Fadzai Mahere, Beatrice Mtetwa, all a lot of lawyers have been arrested for standing for people. It's like you are being accused of being a lawyer, and yet your duty or your responsibility or your job is to defend the innocent or to defend the victims.
Absolutely.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's very, very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. Yeah, I think I'm always a solution oriented person. I think the solution, we have the solution, and I want to urge Zimbabweans and say nobody's gonna come to our rescue. We have the solution. We are our own rescue. But
Yes.
there's gonna be a night and like there's gonna be a night coming to help us. No, we have to do the advocacy. We have to speak up. I think we need to get rid of fear. Because fear paralyzes us a lot, and I think that's why we see a lot of the women's rights organizations are not speaking up. It's like we know what's happening with Mary, but there's no speaking up at all. And so I don't know. I'm hoping we can continue to just advocate from the spaces we are in. And
Yes.
continue.
So coming back to Susan Mutami's story, do you think there's ever gonna be justice for Susan? Because in from day one, I just said, "Guna Chief, I support Susan. I really support Susan she is a brave woman. I was there in her space, and I could not get chance to speak. I really liked her bravery. I really liked, she had every information. And do you think the evidence that she gave about zvidya zvaMnangagwa paitanzi yellow bone, do you think that's enough evidence? Can that be used as evidence? And also, or do you think she's ever gonna get justice? And do you think this can be an international case? Since she has reported a case to the Australian police.
I think like with anything else, I think we can always have results depending on how consistent we're going to be, depending on how much we're going to support her, how much she's getting support in terms of making the noise. I'll give you an example. The former Gambian dictator, Yahya, by the time he was removed from office, there were a lot of young women who had come forward, and they had actually they've been accusing him of being violated as children. So we've seen these cases happen, and he got tried at the international court. So I think the case of Susan, she will need a lot of support. She will need to have people rally behind her, and we need consistency, persistency, and I think in this case, the more voices, the more survivor victims that come forward, it will help with the case. That's what I think.
Yes, that's correct, and we have seen more people coming up, and some people that I know who stay in Kwekwe who were also confirming Emmerson Mnangagwa's behavior in Kwekwe. Before he was the president, people were confirming his behavior to say ndo basa rake ndo zvaaita akapedza vana vakawanda kuchikoro. He's got a lot of issues, and I am just praying that more victims will come up, and then we all have to make noise, like we are saying. Emmerson Mnangagwa must be arrested. Justice must be done to Susan. We don't even care what she did, or maybe after the rape, because people were saying, hey, what anoda varume, what look at her behavior. But can you comment on that, Comfort? Do you think that some of these things, the behavior, it also emanates from the childhood abuse?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Child sexual abuse is a very complicated. I would want to call it a giant. If we look at Susan's behavior as people are trying to execute her, a lot of those, I listened to an interview maybe 4 times and I was taking notes. A lot of what she was saying is very consistent with someone who has post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yes.
Mwana akabatwa ari mwana at that age. It puts her in a place where she feels like constantly there's a tiger on her lap. The promiscuity that looks like promiscuity on the outside is her trying to find validation. I've hosted so many retreats for survivors of child sexual abuse, and they always say, I feel dirty, and I'm trying to have someone validate me. So can I start that topic here? Someone Susan from the outside and judge her. But in me as an advocate, as an expert, I understand Susan.
Yes.
We also had recently some people come forward. I have a young lady I'm working with right now who said that Felix Yangwa sexually violated her when she was 14. And during the interview, you can hear someone saying, and you can also feel it. I felt both. She was really in pain. I'm going to be working with her. She said she has a lot of names she wants to drop. Evan Varima position. So we have a big problem in
Yeah.
Zimbabwe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's correct. I also understand Susan's behavior, and I've tried even maybe to share with other women to say, no, don't judge Susan, because she's a victim. And once you start judging Susan, it means you are siding with the perpetrator. Mnangagwa is a perpetrator, and we are not even amused by this behavior, Comfort, even basing on judging on his these Kugurahundi issues, the violence that was there in 2008, the violence that was there, the formation of these opposition political parties. Mnangagwa was behind all this, even if it was Robert Mugabe who was the president. We know that. So we are not even amused. So I just want to thank you, Comfort, for being here with us. We were waiting for you, and we had promised people that you were coming, and you kept your promise. And we just want to say, please continue doing the good work that you are doing. Change Radio is always here for you. If you've got any programs that you would want us to air, please feel free to come to Change Radio. My name is Barbara Tanyanyiwa. I'm also at Change Radio. I'm also the national spokesperson, the interim spokesperson of the CCC, women spokesperson. So yeah, I'm also a gender specialist. I'm a human rights activist, women activist. These are my issues. So I'm so happy to host you, and I don't know whether you've got any parting shots that you'd want to share with the listeners. Thank you, Comfort.
Of a network issue, so I went off camera. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I want to thank Change Radio. I want to thank CCC for the advocacy work you keep doing. I've been interacting a lot with our CC member on cases. The other day I was on a fundraiser that they were doing, and I think this is where the change begins, conversation. So thank you so much for having me, and thank you for your patience, because I know I was trying to do multiple things at the same time. I look forward to connecting, and I think let's have an ongoing conversation.
Yes.
Yes,
You can get my number from Chief. I also get your number from Chief Soshi.
absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Comfort. Okay, your viewers and listeners, there is Comfort for you. Comfort Dondo, the woman activist, a lady who's got passion for women issues. And I saw you at Simba Chikanza's platform. I could not join because I was waiting for this program. And Chief was saying, could at least, because I wanted also to go and defend Susan there, but unfortunately, I had this program that was already scheduled. So the viewers and listeners, we were talking about Susan Mutami's issue. We know some people were judging Susan to say, why did he do this? Why did she wait for so long? And we know that the reason the rape, the state rape or statutory rape, it doesn't have any duration. You can report anytime. If you are there and you happen to be a victim, it's never too late to report. You come out, speak out, talk about these things. There are people out there who are willing to help. Don't keep quiet about the problems that you experienced when you were young. It was never your problem. It was never your fault. Please come out. You can even contact Change Radio if you were abused as a child, whether you are a male or you are a female. Gender-based violence is not all about women, but also men are abused, they are victimized, but they don't have the guts to report or to come out. So Change Radio is there for you. Please, if you feel you were victimized, Estella, can you pin my number so that they can even contact? If there's no number there, you can pin my number so that they can contact me, and I'll be happy to work with you, Comfort. If ever we are going to have people coming to opening up to Change Radio, I think we'll work together. I'll pass on the names to you, and you deal with, since your organization is global. I think Change Radio will be very, very happy to work hand in hand with you if we come across victims that would have opened up to Change Radio. Thank you so much, our viewers and listeners. It was a very good evening, a very good morning, a very good afternoon having you on this platform, having you on Change Radio. We were live on Change Radio Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and we are also live on Shepherd Judas page. Thank you so much and goodbye.
Moyo wangu neshungu, moyo wangu neshungu, moyo wangu neshungu, moyo wangu neshungu. tindoda asizanu yacho inongo tibi